All right, today we are doing 3.3, subtracting integers. Okay, here's a very, very key thing that I need you guys to understand. I'm going to write it in all caps because that's our serious name about it. Every subtraction problem can be turned into an addition problem. Okay, every single subtraction problem can actually be turned into an addition problem. So that means once we know how to do that, we don't have to learn any new rules today because we have already learned the adding rules. So here is an example of how that works. 8 minus 13. Okay, all we have to do to turn that into an addition problem is take 8 plus a negative 13. I can just throw a plus sign in there, keep my 13 negative. Minus and negatives are the same thing. You heard me say that yesterday, hopefully. And now I have this rule. I have a positive 8, a negative 13. So that's different signs. So I'm going to subtract them. 13 minus 8 is 5. Which number is bigger? 13. 13 is negative, so my answer would be negative 5. All right, so let's do another one. Negative 10 minus 7. I'm going to rewrite that as addition. So negative 10 plus a negative 7. Different sign, or sorry, same signs on this one. They're both negative, so I'm just going to add, which is 17. Keep my sign, so it would be a negative 17. Okay, so here's the deal though. I'm super lazy, and I never do this step anymore. I never turn it into an addition problem because it's just one more thing for me to write. So I honestly just look at this. 8's positive, 13 is negative, because a negative and a subtraction sign are the same thing. So if I have a positive and a negative, that's two different signs. So I subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. I look at this. I have a negative 10, I have a negative 7, because a negative and a subtraction sign are the same thing. So they're both negative, so that's the same sign. So I just add them and keep the sign. So I will do this on the notes, but know that you don't have to do this step because it's really just looking at the signs and knowing different signs. I'm going to subtract, same signs, I'm going to add. Okay. So let's do one more. Let's do negative 14 minus 3. Okay, same signs are different signs. That's negative, so it's the same sign, so I'm just going to add. I picked the same thing. And I keep my sign, so it's going to be negative 17 yet again. If you wanted to turn this into an addition problem, you got negative 14 plus a negative 3. You can clearly see here they're both negatives, so you just add. Okay, so really no new rules, just being able to see a subtraction sign as a negative is the biggest thing here. But we do have one new rule because we have some weird things happen sometimes. And that is whenever we have a double negative. A double negative always equals a positive. Okay, if I say, you don't have to write this down, but I do not have time to do homework. That really means, oh my goodness, I'm running off the road here. I do not have time to do homework. That really means I do have time. So anytime you have two negatives, it always equals positive, even in the English language. Miss Weller would probably slap your wrist if she heard you saying, I do not have time for homework, because it's silly to use that because it's really just a positive word. So here's an example of what I mean by this in math. 2 minus a negative 3. That is two negatives side by side. Okay, here's a non-example because we get these confused. -2 minus 3. That's not a double negative because they're separated. The negative signs are separated from each other, unlike they are here. So this is what I'm talking about that turns into a positive. So example number 4, we got 1 minus a -2. Double negative. So whenever I do this is what I really do to the problem. I just see a double negative and I just automatically turn it positive. I take both of those minus signs and just turn it positive. So now my problem is just 1 plus 2, which is 3. Let's do another one. -10 minus a -7. I'm going to rewrite it. So double negative right here. So I take those and I just turn them into a plus sign. So now I look at my signs. Different signs, because that's a +7 now. That's a -10. So I'm going to subtract. Excuse me. So that is 3. Which one's bigger? 10. So my answer would be a -3. Rewatch that if you need to kind of see how all of that works. All right. Then in this chapter, they like to throw in variables that you have to substitute. So example number, I've already forgot, 6. It's going to say evaluate x minus y if x equals -6 and y equals -5. So I just start writing. Y is -6. So -6. I said y, I meant x. So you just plug in the numbers for the letters. So x, -6. Then I have to drop down that minus sign. Then I put in y, which is -5. What's happening right here? I have a double negative. So what do I need to do to that? Turn it positive. Now I look at my things. Same signs or different signs? I have different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 5 equals 1. Which number is bigger? 6, so my 1 needs to be negative. All right, how about you try to do this one? Evaluate m minus n if m is -15 and n equals a +8. So you do that one while I blow my nose. All right, so I'm just plugging them in. So m is -15. Drop down that minus sign. 8. N is 8. Same signs or different signs? Same signs, because that's a negative. Subtraction sign is the same thing as a negative. That's a negative. So I'm really just going to add those. 15 plus 8 is 23. And then I have to keep my sign. If they're both negative, 23's got to be negative too. All right. That is it. Yeah, that's it.